How's it going, everybody? It's Stas here. Welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we're going to be doing an overall market update, taking a look at the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, and the Nasdaq. We're also going to be doing a trading update, talking about what I personally did today in the stock market, as well as some stocks and ETFs that I'm watching and looking to trade right now as we're wrapping up this month here of January in 2020. And all I ask from you is if you enjoy this video, if you find value in this video at any point of the video, simply go down below for me and consider it, guys, hitting that like button, and also consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see further content from me. And if you haven't quite yet claimed your 2 free stocks from Webull, I actually have an affiliate link down below in the description box where if you deposit $100 using that link, you actually get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400, which is free money at the end of the day. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the S&P 500 first and foremost. Then we'll get into what I did, and then some stocks and ETFs that I'm watching right now, real time, that I'm actually looking to buy as soon as tomorrow. So looking at the S&P 500 today, it wasn't a great day in terms of the closing price, although we did hit an all-time high at $3,337.77. And if I zoom in here a bit, you guys can actually see we had a pretty nice gap up this morning. From yesterday's close at around 33.20, we gapped up to about 33.30. We rallied all the way up to that all-time high, another 7 points from the open of the market. And then from there, we actually dumped the rest of the day. We fell from 33.37 all the way down to about 33.27 in a very sharp manner. And then from there, it pretty much took, obviously the rest of the day, the next couple of hours, to get down another 6 points, another 6 points rather, from this 33.27 bottom. And overall, the S&P, despite it not really doing too great at the close, up 96 cents, we hit an all-time high, like I mentioned. And overall, the trend is still holding here. The hourly trend, the uptrend, is still holding on the S&P 500. We're maintaining that 50 SMA. You can see it right here. And over the past couple of weeks, I've been mentioning this on the channel every single day, it seems like, guys. Over the past couple of weeks, this has been the level that has been acting as a support for the S&P. So for tomorrow, a key level that I'm going to be watching as a support is going to be roughly 33.20. Take a look at this level, which, again, as you guys saw from the daily charts price action, we held this level. But back to that 5-day, 5-minute, you guys can see that 33.20 level, we actually held it on the 17th. We held it on the 21st multiple times throughout the day. And again, we held it today. So in my opinion, if we break that level to the downside, going back to the hourly chart now, this may be where we go to test that 50 SMA, and from there, that's where I'm looking to see a bounce. And we trade ETFs, I do at least sometimes, right, that track the S&P 500 and that go up whenever the S&P 500 is going up. And let me share with you guys really quickly one of these ETFs that I trade, and that one is SPXL. So let's say we do end up getting that little further dip in the S&P, and you can already see it. SPXL is already dipping here. We may be able to get a dip buy on SPXL, which goes up 3 times whatever the S&P is going up. In other words, it is a leveraged ETF. So this could be one that I'm looking potentially to buy maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, depending on what the S&P again does at this 50 SMA. So going over here to the Dow Jones today, guys, down $9.77, down 0.03%. And we saw the S&P hit an all-time high, but the Dow Jones on the flip side did not hit an all-time high, right? We actually are, like the S&P, holding that 50 SMA on the hourly chart, which is a good sign that the trend is continuing. But if we go on this 5-day, 5-minute, we can see overall over the past 3 days, although the 3-week chart, the uptrend is continuing, you can see on the 5-day, 5-minute chart, the downtrend, there is a downtrend here despite the longer term showing the uptrend. The downtrend is really in these last 3 days as you guys can see, ever since we hit that all-time high at around 29,373, right, we've been making lower highs, lower lows, and for support tomorrow to watch, definitely it's going to be around 29,170. If we break this level on the Dow Jones, that could be a very technical break, a detrimental technical break that could trigger some more selling here. And back to that hourly chart, if that were to happen, obviously we'd be breaking that 50 SMA here on the Dow, and who knows, we may be selling off even further from there, and of course we'll cover it here on the channel. So going over here to the Nasdaq, guys, the Nasdaq futures are currently up $18.25, but let me double check on my Yahoo Finance app to see exactly where the Nasdaq closed at. It closed up $12.96, up 0.14%. And it's clear here on the hourly chart, we hit an all-time high, 92.54. When was that? Let me double check. Was that earlier today? Let's take a look. That was today at about 10:45 a.m., so about an hour into the market here on the East Coast, Eastern Standard Time. We hit that all-time high, and from there, like the rest of the markets, the S&P and the Dow, the Nasdaq ended up dumping, and we're overall holding that trend on the hourly chart here, the 20-day 1-hour chart. So for tomorrow, just keep an eye on this 50 SMA. If we continue this uptrend, another ETF that tracks the Nasdaq that I personally like. It's a leveraged ETF. It is TQQQ. That's T with 3 Qs. And this one has pulled down from about 102 down to about $100.50. We're holding that 50 SMA. This could definitely be a nice little dip buy if the markets continue the rally that they are on from the little pullback that we've been seeing here over the past day, day and a half, 2 days across these markets. So overall, that is the quick little market update to start today's video. Let me know down below in the comments, what are your thoughts on the overall market? Is this simply a pull down? Will we pull down even further from here, or are we going to jump from here to all-time highs again in the Nasdaq, in the Dow, in the S&P over these next couple of weeks? I'd love to know what you guys have to think about that. Now, let's talk about what I personally did in the markets today, and I'm sure you guys saw the 3 main stocks that I was trading yesterday. I'm sure you guys saw their performance today because they've honestly been 3 of the hottest stocks in the stock market, and you'll see that one of them did quite well, and 2 of them actually dumped. So Tesla is the one that did quite well, and honestly, guys, I missed out on a lot of profits today, but that's okay because yesterday I actually exited a boatload of my position of shares at around 500, guys, 540-ish. What was it, like 542, I believe, is where I sold off the majority of my shares, and the rest of the shares, the smaller amount that I kept on the table, those are the shares that benefited from this rally today of around 4%, $22 in the green at the close, and we can see Tesla got all the way up to $594 today, guys, almost $600, which is absolutely insane. And that goes to show that sometimes when you lock in your profits, it's a good thing, but you do end up missing rally sometimes, and that plays into the emotions of trading. And with me, that, being a trader for multiple years now, doing this for multiple years now, that is something that I've come to cope with, but I could understand how a beginner out there would hop in into Tesla at 480 like I did, ride it up to about 540 like I did, profit, and then see its action today and be like, dang it, and then buy in more at the top, and that's where it gets dangerous, right? Me, I like buying in on the dips and selling when it rallies. It doesn't matter if it's, a full-on rally like we saw here, a complete extension of the RSI. It doesn't matter if it's a little rally. I'm willing to lock in profits no matter what, and then really just re-enter when I see the next opportunity open up, which is kind of what I'm doing here with Tesla. And the next stock that I want to talk about is Beyond Meat, guys, which you saw in the title. saw a pretty big dip today, down about $6.78 at the close, down 5.25% at the close. And if we go on the daily chart here on Beyond Meat, we can see that I actually was doing some analysis today on Beyond Meat, obviously, since I'll tell you guys now, I sold out of Beyond Meat, and we saw the rally this morning up to 134. And notice how a couple days ago, Beyond Meat got rejected right at around 135. So we got hit at that same level, 135-ish, 134. Really, it's the same thing, right? 134, 135, right around that same area. And we started to sell off. And when we started to sell off, I gave it a little bit, right? If we go back to that daily chart, we can see, it started to hold a bit. Then we saw the massive dump. And this is where I was like, okay, 135, it's a strong resistance, and then from there we held at a higher low, and we found ourselves in this little wedge. And then once we broke the bottom of this wedge and kind of consolidated a little bit, this is where actually I ended up getting out of, I believe it was all of my Beyond Meat position here. I locked in the full profit, I believe exactly at $127.50, and you guys can see from there, it ended up dumping even further. And for me, guys, this is good because I got in a couple days ago. And if you guys have been following the videos, you know that I got in roughly at about $108. And from 108 up to 127, that's about a 15% gain in a couple of days. And I'm all for that, guys, believe me. And now with this little pull down, with the cash that I've freed up from locking in profits over these past couple of days, I'm looking to re-enter Beyond Meat, and we'll talk about a couple of other stocks here in the next couple of minutes that I'm looking to enter. So Beyond, I took some profits there, really just took all of the profits there on Beyond today. Uber is another one that I was in yesterday, locked in profits yesterday. I believe it was around $37.60, and we're seeing yet again, like Beyond Meat, a correction here. And this is where the beauty of having cash ready to strike on the sidelines is a good thing, right? Because tomorrow I'm hoping we get a pull down even further, maybe into 36 on Uber, so I can get in for the third or fourth swing that I've had here over the past couple of weeks with Uber. And quick rundown, guys, of my trading history here. Let me just share with you all in under 30 seconds. I actually started buying Uber at around $28, had my first swing from around 28, 29, 30 bucks up to about 33. Locked in profits here, entered back in around 34-ish bucks, 35, and I believe locked in a little bit at 36, but left a lot on the table for this rally up to 38 bucks. And now I'm pretty much all out of Uber, and I'm looking to again re-enter now with my cash position and buy up some shares, whether it's 36, 36.50, maybe even 37, depending on how the price action looks tomorrow. So now, guys, now that we talked about what I did today, it really wasn't anything crazy, right? Just taking some profits on Beyond Meat and really scoping out some earnings, right? Seeing what Johnson & Johnson did, Netflix did, and how those stocks reacted. And I'm honestly waiting for tomorrow to strike on those two stocks. And we'll talk about them in a minute here after we talk about the sell-off in NIO, guys, ticker symbol NIO. NIO saw a 7.35% sell-off today, down 38 cents. And if we go on the hourly chart, we can see we hit $5.65, guys. That is absolutely ludicrous here. We closed yesterday at 514 and we rallied all the way to 565, and this just goes to show how volatile this stock can be. We went from 565 down to about 485, which is a loss of 80 cents through the span of a day. And that goes to show, again, this is a speculative play, in my opinion. Don't have an amount of money in this stock that you can't stomach the loss of that money, right? Let's say you have a portfolio and all of your money's in NIO and you see a drop like this. Yeah, that's going to scare you a little bit. But let's say you have a portfolio diversified of, let's say, 15 stocks, 10 stocks, and NIO is a spec play that's under 1%, 2% of your portfolio. This loss, I guarantee you, it won't phase you whatsoever, right? It will not phase you whatsoever. And in my opinion, guys, and the technicals don't lie here, the uptrend is still holding on NIO. This is simply a healthy pull down, shaking out the weak hands, profit takers because of the massive rally that we've been seeing. And I really believe that we could continue higher here. And of course, if we break that 50 SMA in tomorrow's session, let's say we sell off even further, that might be a bit worrisome here, at least in the short term. Will I sell my NIO stock if that happens? No, because I'm holding long term. But for a swing trader, from a swing perspective, that would definitely hurt, in my opinion. From that point, 450 could be the next spot, but we'll talk about that if that happens. As of now, we're holding that 50 SMA, which is very, very strong in my opinion, and the uptrend is continuing. Now, let's break down some earnings very quickly. The first one being IBM. IBM was up today, guys. Ticker symbol IBM, International Business Machine Corporation. It was up $4.72 today, up 3.39%. Am I necessarily looking to jump in and buy this right now? No, but I'm looking to see if it cools off a bit from this rally. Maybe I'll nibble some shares because their earnings here are pretty solid. We can see Q4 EPS came in at $4.71 per share versus the 4.69 per share that was expected. So they beat there on EPS, and revenue came in at $21.8 billion versus $21.6 billion expected. And they also saw an adjusted 2020 EPS of at least $13.35 versus the $13.28 or $13.28 expected. So one thing that investors love is when guidance kind of is, they outperform on guidance based on the company, that is, based on what Wall Street expects. And based on those numbers, that's exactly what they're expecting right now. And they also they beat on Q4 earnings as well. So Q4 earnings solid. 2020, they're looking to beat on EPS for the full year. That is solid, and that is why this stock is up, from my research here, 3.39%. So this is definitely one to keep an eye on. Maybe if it cools off, maybe if it settles at around 140-ish, 142, that could end up being something to consider here on IBM. Some to go quickly through: Target, ticker symbol TGT, still looking to see it if it holds 114. It seems like it's struggling still today at about 113.90 is where we closed here on Target. And overall, the 5-day, 5-minute, we are holding that 113, 114 level, but overall, we're still trending below the moving averages. We still have a bearish cross here on the 5-day, 5-minute chart where the 50 SMA crossed below the 200 SMA, or not the 200 SMA, the 180 SMA here based on my chart, which is not too good of a sign. Now, let's talk about J&J, which also reported earnings. This was pre-market today, and their stock actually went down from 151. Was that after-market yesterday or pre-market today? Either way, it went from 151 down all the way to 146 at the lows today, and overall, we've rallied from there back up to about $148.25. And you guys can see, before we even say and talk about quickly what they reported in terms of numbers, J&J is still on an uptrend on the 4-hour chart. You guys can see we're still, holding those all-time highs as new support levels. We're still holding that 50 SMA. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about in terms of those all-time highs on the 3-year chart, you can see back in 2018 and in the end of 2018, so twice in 2018, we topped at about 148. So the fact that we're holding that now as a support, that is a very good sign. So J&J EPS came in at 188 versus 187 expected. Revenue came in at $20.75 billion versus $20.78 billion. So they missed there on revenue, but they beat on EPS. So that's kind of a mixed bag there from J&J. I wouldn't say it's an abysmal earnings just from those metrics. I wouldn't say it's a grand slam. I just say it's kind of a decent earnings, right? Decent there. And J&J sees 2020 sales being around 85.4 to about 86.2 billion versus the 85.52 billion expected. And like we mentioned here with what was the other company, IBM, let's say J&J outperforms what analysts expect for the next year in terms of sales and revenue, honestly, or EPS rather, obviously that is going to drive the stock in the year of 2020. And that's just going to be what really, investors and traders look for trading a stock that, may continue a rally. Because if we continue to get good earnings, this can continue to rally in terms of the stock, and that's what investors kind of look for, right? At least if they're going long on the stock. If you're shorting a stock, it's a completely different story, right? So Netflix is another one that is pulling down a bit today, despite reporting earnings yesterday, from my understanding, that weren't too bad. And let me tell you guys, if you don't know what their earnings were from yesterday, their EPS came in at $1.30 versus 53 cents expected. And again, like I mentioned yesterday, not sure if they manipulated that, because you can manipulate EPS. And revenue came in at $5.47 billion versus $5.45 billion. So they beat on revenue there, and they killed it on EPS, right? And really what I believe is something solid here for Netflix is they guided out for Q1 EPS of $1.66 on revenue of $5.73 billion versus the street estimate of EPS of $1.18 per share on revenue of $5.74 billion. So their EPS projections continue to outpace analysts, and we can see here clearly on a technical basis, Netflix has gotten rejected at 340, but we are holding that 180 SMA and the general 320 to about 325 area of support. And again, like I mentioned a couple minutes ago, this is why I like having some dry powder on the sidelines, and that's just another way of saying cash, right? The Uber profits, the Beyond profits, the Tesla profits. I don't really like spending this money, guys. The truth is, I spend as little of it as I can for my expenses, whatever. I try to reinvest all of this. This is kind of how I plan on growing my account and my wealth over the next couple of years, right? The goal is not to spend it. The goal is to reinvest it in opportunities like I'm seeing right now in Netflix, like Johnson & Johnson, and some of the other ones that we've been talking about here that I'm looking to re-enter, like Beyond Meat, Uber, etc., right? So Netflix, definitely one to watch out for here. Some other ones very quickly that reported earnings as well. Texas Instruments, TXN is the ticker symbol on that one, I believe. Not to get into too specific on what they reported, but they did report earnings today, as well as INTC, also known as Intel, and you can see TXN is going crazy after hours. And let's take a look at INTC very quickly to see what they're doing as of right now. They're actually rallying up into the 60s, and if we go out to the 4-hour chart, you can see INTC is killing it. Actually, they did not report earnings today. That's a mistake on my part, guys. Sorry. They're actually reporting earnings tomorrow. So watch INTC for tomorrow, maybe TXN for a potential play. Two more very quickly to end off this video, guys. An MJ play. It's going to be ticker symbol CGC. And CGC, over these past couple of days, it's been cooling off. We've been seeing some resistance at around $25-26 as we're trading now in the $24 range. And if we see on the 4-hour chart, maybe 23.50 could end up being a buying range on CGC if we end up holding that 50 SMA here on the 4-hour chart. I'm thinking maybe from 23 to about 24.90, $25. That could be a tradable zone here on CGC. And the last one that I want to talk about, which is on the verge of a breakout as well, but it's been seeing some pull down recently, is Square, guys, ticker symbol SQ. This one's pulled down from 71 down to about 68, 69 as of this recording here. And I just want to see if it holds 68 bucks. That's a support that I'm seeing from a couple days ago, and it's a 50 SMA support here on the 4-hour chart. So I'm watching that for an entry. So overall, guys, these are the stocks that I'm looking to buy right now, to be honest, that I'm looking to scale in, and what I've been personally doing here in the market. So let me know down below in the comments, what are your thoughts on these stocks? Anything you want to add to the video? Any stocks that you're watching, that you're trading, your thoughts on the market? Feel free to drop them down below in the comments section. And if you guys enjoyed this video, simply go down below for me and hit that like button. And again, consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see further content from me. And if you haven't claimed your 2 free stocks from Webull quite yet, I have an affiliate link down below where if you deposit 100 bucks, you get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400, no strings attached, and that's free money at the end of the day, guys, which you can save that money, you can invest it, reinvest it, do whatever you want. And yeah, that's linked down below in the description box. Enjoy your free stocks. Hope you all had a fantastic trading day today. I appreciate all of you guys watching the videos as always. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.